the outset, I would like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to present my technique of phaco in Intumescent cataract to avoid Argentinian flag sign, which I call it as the Tadanki technique. I have absolutely no financial in this one. And what is this Tadanki technique? Tadanki technique is a way to avoid the Argentinian flag sign. I have tried all means like phaco punch, double rexes, aspirating the sharp needle, spiral rexes, etc. This is one more weapon in the armamentarium, but a better and a more predictable way of avoiding the Argentina flag sign. The advantage of this technique is that one can use their existing phaco machine. The reason for using the phaco handpiece is that the larger bore aspirates the gel-like liquefied cortex very easily. Syringes fail to aspirate the cortex as it is thick and not so easy to aspirate. So I have enumerated all the steps from step 1 to step 5. And the step 1, with the right hand, one holds the phaco handpiece in the IA mode. And with the left hand, one holds the cystic tone. So the step number 2, initiate high vacuum before puncturing the anterior capsule. The step number 3, make a nick under high aspiration. Advantage is that it instantly aspirates and decompresses the lens. Step number 4, fill the anterior chamber with visco before the handpiece removal. This is a very important point because if you suddenly remove the phaco handpiece, it can propagate the capsular break to the periphery. Avoid sudden decompression of the anticapsule. Never overfill because the risk of reverse Argentine flag sign is very high. Step number 5, proceed with the surgery as usual. So as usual, I make the side ports. I am operating this case under topical anesthesia. And then I inject flappan blue into the anterior chamber, left there for a few seconds and washed off. And the antechamber is filled with viscoat and HPMC. In all these cases with hard cataracts, I always use viscoat, even though I don't have any financial interest here. I stabilize the eye with Sinski, and then the main entry tunnel is made with the 2.8 keratome. Now, the eye is stabilized with the Sinski hook, and the phaco handpiece is inserted in the IA mode. Then the Sinski hook is removed, and then the cystitome is inserted through the side port. Now, high vacuum is initiated. One can see the fluid currents there, and then the anticapsule is punctured with the cystitome. One can see that the phaco handpiece instantly aspirates the leaking cortical matter. The same thing I'll be showing in high magnification, slow motion as well, for you to understand clearly. Now, the leaking cortical matter is aspirated, and then the cystitome is removed. The phaco handpiece is not removed here, only the cystitome is removed, and the anterior chamber is reformed with the viscoelastic before the phaco handpiece removal. This is very important to avoid the capsular break running to the periphery. Now it is rexis as usual. The leading edge is propagated in a curvilinear fashion, and then the rexis is made. So after making the rexis, I top up the anterior chamber with viscoat and HPMC, and then it is phaco as usual. So I remove all the loose cortical matter. In all these cases with dense hard nuclei, I always use my technique of modulating the phaco power. If modulating the phaco power means I use a high vacuum with a moderate power. The reason is that the high vacuum decreases the need for higher energy to emulsify the nucleus. So in my Venturi machine, the high vacuum, I go up to around 250 to 280 millimeters of mercury. Now I make the nucleus in 2 halves, and depending upon the requirement, I make it into 4 or 8. It depends upon the density of the cataract. So I'm making it into 4 quadrants. The nucleus is pretty leathery and quite difficult to crack. And then I start sub-chopping. So each piece is pulled up and emulsified in the iris plane. So it's a good idea to top up the anterior chamber with viscoat in between to have a crystal clear cornea in the postoperative period. So all the 4 quadrants are emulsified. I'm showing the cortex wash in fast forward motion. All the cortex is removed. with a bit of a difficulty, and whatever cortex that is adherent to the acoustic capsule is flushed with saline. Now the minimal cortical strands are removed. And then I fill the anterior chamber with HPMC before injecting the lens. So the lens is dialed into the bag. So at the end of the surgery, the cornea looks crystal clear. The take-home point for Tadanki technique is that there's no technique in the world which is 100% safe and accurate in intumescent cataract for avoiding Argentinian flag sign. My technique does well because the phaco handpiece in IA mode pressurizes the anterior chamber and instantly aspirates the leaking cortex, thereby minimizing the risk of Argentinian flag sign. Thank you very much.